Izanagi barely escaped the realm of the dead, but the corruption of Yomi, its malware, has deeply permeated his being. Here, at the sacred estuary of Awagihara, where the river meets the sea, he begins the ritual of misogi, a full system purge. First, he cast off his garments and ornaments one by one. And from each discarded item, new deities were born. From his staff, a god of paths. From his sash, a god of roads. Simply by unequipping his gear, 12 deities were deployed. Here again, a pattern from the previous episode emerges, the same one seen in the decomposition of Kagutsuchi. Rather than simply deleting contaminated data, the system recycles resources during the process, repurposing them as new components. This mythology consistently describes a recycling-based resource management, one that extracts value even from waste. Having cast everything aside, Izanagi stepped into the water and began the full purge. The first impurities to wash away spawned 2 deities of calamity. But immediately after, as if to neutralize the threat, 3 deities of purification were automatically generated. When malware was purged from the system, corresponding security modules were automatically deployed. The system was designed with self-healing architecture, generating countermeasures the moment a threat was detected. The purification process, having spawned countless deities as byproducts, finally reached its core. When Izanagi washed his face for the last time, from his left eye emerged Amaterasu, the solar sovereign who illuminates all of heaven. From his right eye, Tsukuyomi, the silent guardian of the night. And from his nose, Susanoo, the untamed storm, wreathed in chaos. Izanagi was overjoyed. Of all the children he had brought forth, he declared, "At last, I have gained 3 most precious ones." And immediately he delegated dominion to each. To Amaterasu, the high plane of heaven. To Tsukuyomi, the realm of night. And to Susanoo, the sea. Partitioning the world into 3 independent sectors, each governed by a core process with supreme authority. This act of formal delegation has a name, Kotoyosashi. The same protocol, but a new phase. No longer to create the world, but to govern it. A superior assigns. A process accepts. A domain is governed. But a fatal error was embedded within the 3rd core process. Susanoo refused to execute his Kotoyosashi, the sea he had been formally assigned to govern. Even after being entrusted with the great duty of ruling the seas, he did nothing but wail. "I want to go to where my dead mother rests," he cried. His grief was not mere weeping. Green mountains withered in an instant. Vast oceans dried up. Calamities consumed the world. A rogue process that refused its assigned task, consuming infinite resources with an endless loop of grief. That is what Susanoo had become to the system. Izanagi delivered his final verdict. "Your endless weeping is destroying this land. You are no longer permitted to dwell here." Banishment, a forced ejection from the system. And with this decree, Izanagi, the father who forged the world, exits the main narrative entirely. Accepting his exile, Susanoo declared he would first bid farewell to his sister and ascended toward the high plane of heaven. But as he rose, every mountain and river trembled, and the entire earth groaned beneath him. Sensing the disturbance, Amaterasu made her judgment. "My brother does not come with good intentions. He comes to seize my domain." She unbound her hair, retied it for battle, armed herself with bow and arrows, and braced for war. At the gate of Takamagahara, Susanoo faced the armed administrator.
"You are wrong. I only wished to bid you farewell before I descend to the root country. I have no hostile intent."
Amaterasu kept her bow drawn and answered quietly,
"Then prove it."
And so the two agreed to execute a verification by uke. Uke is an ancient verification protocol, a declaration made in advance with the outcome of the ritual serving as divine judgment. Normally, the winning condition should have been agreed upon before execution. In this case, that step was skipped. The two exchanged their sacred objects. Amaterasu received Susanoo's sword. Susanoo received Amaterasu's magatama, the sacred curved jewel. Each shattered the other's artifact and breathed forth the mist. From Susanoo's sword, 3 gentle goddesses, luminous and calm. From Amaterasu's jewels, 5 powerful male deities, one by one. Gentle goddesses were born from my sword. This proves my heart is pure. Susanoo declared victory. The result was interpreted by Susanoo and accepted by the Supreme Administrator. Worth noting, however, the uke produced more than a verdict. The 3 goddesses born from Susanoo's sword became Amaterasu's divine retinue, woven into the lineage of the high plane of heaven. The male god born from Amaterasu's jewel would become the ancestor of the imperial line. As a byproduct of a verification ritual, divine succession itself had been initialized. But the innocence he had proven only emboldened Susanoo further. He went on a rampage across the high plane of heaven, destroying rice paddies, filling irrigation ditches, and defiling sacred halls. Yet Amaterasu chose to defend him, even now. Faced with an unmistakable act of malicious attack, sacred grounds defiled with excrement, she issued a public statement. "He must have been drunk. There was no malice in it." This was not mere indulgence. It was a deliberate reclassification, a malicious attack rewritten as a system error. A desperate maneuver by the Supreme Administrator to avoid banishing her brother, to keep the system's order intact. And then the irreversible. Susanoo hurled a flayed horse through the roof of the sacred weaving hall. The impact claimed the life of a weaving goddess, struck down by the tools of her own craft. She had defended him, endured him, tried to believe. In that moment, the thread snapped. "Enough! No more!" The administrator made her decision. Total abdication. Faced with the uncontrollable bug known as Susanoo, the Supreme Administrator chose to shut herself down. She retreated into the depths of the heavenly rock cave, Amano Iwato, and sealed herself inside. Without the sun's administrator, both heaven and earth were plunged into absolute darkness. In modern terms, this was Hikikomori, a total retreat from the world.
Let's return to Izanagi's misogi. In Japanese, there is an expression, mizu ni nagasu, to let the water wash it away. To release past wrongs, unspoken. Its origin traces back to this very scene. The idea of water as purification is universal. Christian baptism, Hindu bathing in the Ganges, the Jewish mikveh. Across cultures, humanity has found the same power in water. So what makes the Japanese concept distinct? Most traditions require a procedure, confession, atonement, explicit forgiveness. But mizu ni nagasu requires none. This worldview is called kegare and harai. Kegare, not sin, but a state, contamination that simply accumulates. Harai, not forgiveness, but a reset, no judgment, no intermediary. And the protocol still runs. The ritual hand-washing, temizu, at every shrine. The twice-yearly o-hare ceremony. Code from 1300 years ago, still quietly executing. The instinct to wash things away may be universal, but what gets washed and how differs fundamentally between systems, and those differences are still quietly encoded today.